Hey everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time. So, I have 3 pieces of news. There's a lot more news going on at this exact day, and I'm actually filming this late. I am filming this on the day it goes out, which is generally a faux pas with my kind of, personal rules on how to release videos, but there is a reason that I am editing and that I'm, doing this one today. Which is our last piece of news, so let me get through the easy parts first. Firstly, the P.O. Box is tentatively open. Which is to say that no matter what, if you send something, it will end up in this town. It will end up at the, local Royal Mail depot, or possibly the Parcel Force depot, because that's a trek, but yeah, Royal Mail's weird. It might not necessarily be delivered to my doorstep here at the Fox Den, but it will absolutely get in the vicinity of me, and then I can go and grab it from the depot if necessary. So yeah, tentatively open. It will definitely be sorted out by the end of Christmas, but it depends very much on Royal Mail's and how quickly they process paperwork and such. But it will definitely end up in this town. If you're not sure if it's gonna reach my doorstep, then let me know when it arrives, or says it's arrived if you got tracking on, that kind of thing. The patron server is still up on New Helena right now. We are currently waiting for a Tea launcher to get back to me on the new mod pack, and hopefully that happens before Christmas. We'll see. And then we can get the new map up, we can get the new mod pack out. The new mod pack will be publicly available, which is to say that whilst it is called Lying's Patron Pack, the patron server is the part you'll only have access to via Patreon. So you will be able to play along if you like in your own worlds. You'll just not necessarily have access to the world that we're all playing on with me and whatnot, because I'm apparently a marketable property of a server. So yeah, that's entirely out of my hands right now. It's just waiting on other people to process on both fronts. Speaking of waiting for things to process, today is important because today marks one entire year that I have been wearing breast forms. So this is the day that I originally marked as being the point where I decide, okay, is this something I'm just doing for novelty, or is this something I actually want to pursue further into a more permanent kind of holding? And I said 6 months ago that I figured a year would be actually complete overkill in figuring this out. And now I'm actually at a point where I'm pursuing talking to surgeons and stuff, and also talking to trying to talk to, we're working on that one. Again, it's beyond my hands for some reason. Talking to therapists about dysphoria and all sorts, and it definitely feels real. It definitely feels like it's not just something that I'm picking up for the novelty of it, which, hey, I've had a couple of things in my life that are like that. I've, had gloves for a very long while. In fact, some of my earliest, skins on Minecraft and such had gloves on them and everything. And of course I have a litany of hats, which is weird because I didn't pursue most of them, but I have a litany of them and they're comfy, so why not? Heck, the fact that there is so many foxes around my office is something that was novel and people suggested, and I took it forward, and sure, why not, embrace it. Doesn't hurt me, seems fun, might as well. This doesn't feel like that. This feels very much like maybe the reason I was grabbing onto all of those things in the past was because I was trying to figure out what was weird and missing and not quite right. And this feels sort of like I finally pushed the right button. I'll be able to maybe process this into better words when I actually have a therapist to talk to about it, but, yeah, and we have a bath now in Fox Den Beta. This is relevant for a reason I'll describe very quickly. We have a bath now. The bathroom is not a garbage mess, but we're working on it. Which differs from a shower in that I now actually am more or less mandatorily required to spend a moment or two, appreciating my current physiology? Appreciating might be a strong word, because now I basically have time where I have to spend staring at myself without the breast forms or anything on, and that is a pretty big hit of dysphoria for me pretty much every single time, which I admit has made me slightly remiss on my bathing schedule, in addition to the bathroom being an ice-cold box, but nonetheless. So yeah, my conclusion after 6 months was, I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going here. My conclusion after another 6 months, after an entire year, is this decision is probably going to change the trajectory of my life and my social engagements with a lot of people for a very, very long while, and in a lot of cases, not for the better. But I think I'm going to do it anyways. I think this is something that I should do. And in the moments where I am the least confident, it sort of comes to me as, if I didn't do this, then I could spend the next 20 plus years being, maybe I should have done this. Whereas if I do this, I can spend the next 20 odd years thinking, well, they look nice. So, the theoretical loss is greater if I hit than the theoretical, the theoretical gain is greater than the theoretical loss, I think. So yeah, here we are, approaching Christmas number 2, as a gender non-conforming guy. Hopefully my talking about this helps somebody else. Hopefully my talking about this makes it seem a little bit more normal for some people that might be guys with boobs, or vice versa. Turns out human form is a little bit more malleable than a lot of media might suggest. And with that, on to the schedule. Our upcoming streams for the week. On Thursday at 9 PM GMT, we have Midnight, where we have a decent chance of taking on Leviathan in our first raid of Destiny 2. Then on Saturday at 9 PM GMT, we have The Carousel, where we have another open house with patrons, where we spin the wheel and play some random games. And lastly, on Tuesday at 9 PM GMT, we have Building Blocks, where we're chilling out with a few item textures and models. And videos you might have missed for the week, in addition to our Advent candles still running, we have Dailies by Daylight as Amanda rolls the dice on a random perk build as the new update looms. And on to the questions. So as always, these are drawn from the comments section of the preceding vlog. If you have anything to ask me, drop it down below, tie it to a raven, release it to the east, and send it off with Freya's blessing. So our question of the week comes from Edward Morn. No similarity. Will we see a series on paint drying in the future? You're being facetious, but I get the point here. Time-lapses are a brilliant way to put really big, long processes, like traffic or decorating or such, onto camera without necessarily forcing the audience to be present at every single individual second. The time it takes for the Advent candle to burn down a single day is closer to an hour than it is to the 4 or 3 or 2 minutes that we see in the video. So having you actually, sit there and watch it, I'm not making a Yule log here. So it's so much better to do it that way. Does mean there's the occasional little problem. Not gonna lie, but, And then there's the more complex time-lapses that I do in Minecraft series and such, where I have the replay mod, so I can actually time-lapse everything sort of in the game itself, and then choose my angles as I want and however, and tie things to music much more prettily, that kind of thing. Because there's a lot of things you can do in a lot of games, and just a lot of life, really, that are really long. But at the end of it, you have something really interesting and cool to look at. And you don't really get to see most of the process because you're too busy just on the one step after the next kind of view. So I like doing time-lapses, and I have been doing time-lapses actually since my very first Minecraft series, believe it or not, way back in like 2012, Never Expedition. Although I probably should have gotten copyright flags on some of the music choices I took with that. Just... cool. And replay was a massive innovation when I finally got that, but I digress. There is, therefore, probably quite a lot more time-lapses in my future. I don't honestly know how complex my AFK, IRL, however you want to describe this meatverse, as it were, time-lapses are going to get. You can make them very much more complex, but I do love the freedom of replay mod to do everything post. It's like I can just go into a world and build a huge thing over the course of a couple of hours or something, and then I can perfectly match it at every single step without having to think ahead of where I need to plonk my character. Oh, it's so freeing, and I'm probably very spoiled about it from a filmmaking perspective, but yeah. But yeah, even if it is something relatively dull, like digging out a huge hole, or painting a wall, or such, I do try to make sure there's at least something interesting going on the frame, even if I have to add it in post with VFX, which is the entirety of Advent Candle, although I am trying not to go completely overboard with the VFX in Advent Candle, partially because it's a daily series, and partially just because it's a little, like, small sandbox that I get to play with and reset every day. But that is it for today. Hope you've all enjoyed. Be comfy in your own bodies, and find the way that makes you comfiest. And I'll catch you all next time.